as I said, there are many sutras in Patanjali's writing, but there are three rules that he gives for us when we're starting on the path. But as you'll understand, they're not just for people who are starting on the path. We all need to continue to embody these qualities and pierce through to a deeper understanding of what these sutras mean to us. The first one is, he says, to cultivate fiery aspiration. Why do you think that would be important? What does that mean to you? Anyone have a thought? Why would that be the number one quality that he asks us to cultivate? Fiery aspiration. Anyone have a thought? Yeah.
So you have the energy to persist and keep moving.
Yeah. It sort of gets our energy bodies moving. Fiery aspiration. The quality of fire is one of the key qualities for seekers on the spiritual path. Fire. Doesn't sound very peaceful, and it's not. Meditation makes use of fiery energies, we're told. It burns away the dross. It burns away the parts of the personality nature that no longer serve us. So we're asked to apply the fire to our lives. Call down fire. It's a powerful mantra that's only recommended for use if you're willing to put yourself on the path of fire. It begins, I seek the way. I yearn to know. Visions I see in fleeting deep impressions. Behind the portal, on the other side, lies that which I call home. For the circle has been well nigh trod, and the end approaches the beginning. I seek the way. All ways my feet have trod. The way of fire calls me with fierce appeal. Naught in me seeks the way of peace. Naught in me yearns for earth. Let the fire rage, the flames devour. Let all the dross be burnt, and let me enter through that gate and tread the way of fire. It's a very powerful mantra. That's why we're asked to not use it unless we're really willing to apply the fire to our lives. Because as I said, the fire burns away the obstacles. So fiery aspiration is the number one quality, the first quality that we're asked to cultivate if we want to tread the path, if we want to tread the way of fire, to enter into another dimension. We need the fire. We're told fiery aspiration has an effect on the etheric body and leads to that purification of the vehicles that occurs on the path of transformation. The second quality is devotion to Ishvara. Fire aspiration, and then devotion to Ishvara. Did Mike start? Okay. So, devotion to Ishvara is quite a different quality in the sound of it, you know. It starts out with fire, but I think devotion to Ishvara is related to the love of God. It's related to the emotional, the higher aspect of the emotional body that comes into play as we begin to devote and pour out our hearts to God. This is the path of the mystics throughout time, who stand as a model to us for their love of God. But dealing with the emotional body is a challenge. Even if we feel we should love God at all times, we still have to deal with a strong emotional body. It's the biggest obstacle, in many ways, on the spiritual path. And so there are certain techniques that Patanjali advocates. There are certain techniques that the Tibetan teacher advocates for us to deal with our emotional body. The Tibetan says, deal drastically with your emotional body, because it is the vehicle that will pull us out of alignment most easily. So he asks us to cultivate tranquility, cultivate poise amidst the obstacles. He says to, on a daily basis, institute those rituals, those practices in your life that can still the astral body. And we did one of those on the first class, visualizing the master, the soul, and the individual disciple, and visualize the white light pouring in and radiating out through that triangle as a means of quelling many of our astral qualities. That kind of technique can help bring us back into alignment. The Tibetan also says, cultivate the as-if technique. Act as if you are the opposite of some of the qualities that pull you out of alignment. In astrology, we're told to sort of try to embody some of the qualities of our polar opposite. Whatever sign is opposite our sun sign gives us certain lessons that we need to learn and we need to embody. I think that's part of this as-if technique, cultivating the opposite polarity to your sun sign, but also cultivating the opposite polarity to what you know are your problems. Some of us are too emotional. We need to cultivate tranquility. Other people might be too passive. They need to cultivate activity. Some of us might use our minds in a critical fashion. We need to cultivate a humble attitude, a more humble humility, to balance out that critical nature. We all know our faults. So start building in our virtues.